Hey, good morning. I was going to write in my journal this morning, but as I got it out, I was like, I just don't really feel like physically writing right now, and I wanted to eat my eggs, and it's kind of hard to write and eat the eggs at the same time, so I decided not to do that. And I was also thinking about how I need to be better at communicating. Regina's been grooving me lately about, like, I'll do this or that and not mention anything to her about it, and I want to be better about that. And communication is obviously a very important business skill, and that's also something that I have been trying to work on lately. So I thought maybe the best way to get used to communicating is to talk more. And, there are many ways to do that. Talking to, any person you run into is good. Making more phone calls is good. And vlogging like this, I think, should work. I'm talking to you, but through this camera, and so, it's just me sitting here at the table with a camera in front of me, and so I'm just looking at the lens and looking deep into it. But I'm still using my voice, and that's going to force me to get used to talking more, and hopefully through that I will do it more often and be more prone to communicating with everybody that needs communicating with. I thought about it lately about why I don't communicate much, and I kind of think back to when I was a child. I would point at things, and because I'm very visual, I'm a visual person, and obviously I'm a photographer, it's looking at things is what I do. And when I was a kid, I would just kind of point. I'd be like, and then Mom would be like, "Oh, do you want that glass?" And then she'd give it to me, and I'd be like, "Yay!" And she was like, "All right, the job's done." I figured out what he wanted, I did it. And that was always fun for us, and she was like, "Yeah, that's fine." But I remember her sister, Kathy, griefed her at one point and was like, "You need to make him start talking." And Mom's like, "Ah, it's fine, he can point." And I always liked that she had that approach for most of my life, until very recently when I realized I'm not a good communicator. And it's because I was never forced to learn to communicate. When I'm in the car and giving someone directions, I don't say, "Hey, take a right up here." I usually just go that way, which is not as effective as doing both. Obviously, pointing and saying, "Take this right," are better. Maybe I would work really well if I were on a silent retreat or something like that, where people weren't talking for whatever reason, or if I were on covert missions where everything is hand signals. Maybe I should become a Navy SEAL or something. But I don't think that's really the solution. I think that forcing myself to get more comfortable with communicating is the way to go. And so that is the subject of this little video I'm making this morning that didn't necessarily start with the subject. I've been wanting to vlog for a long time, but I haven't really made a habit of it as much as I would like to. And so I thought I would just set up the camera and start doing this. And, this is my writing slot in the morning. I try to write every morning. I've tried to build the habit that Sean West talks about, how writing is the foundation of everything that you might want to do in your life. And I agree with that, and the days that I write in the morning, I feel much better about the day. I'm more productive, I do more, it sort of sets my brain working on things. I suspect that making a video and having a conversation at the start of the day will also help, because it's all about processing your thoughts. The difference being that with making these videos, I intend to put them up online. I guess I don't have to. I could make one of these videos and just delete it. But the objective is to make them. And I like the idea of making it something that stays and lasts. The thing is with my journals, I used to write them envisioning that I would have them in the attic, and that my kids or grandkids would find them and be like, "Oh, let's read up on what Grandpa was doing." But I also don't like having things around, and so I eventually just throw them away. And so that obviously doesn't work out for the game plan of letting people discover them down the road. Similarly, if I made these videos and just deleted them, that too can never be discovered by anyone. But I do want the stuff to get discovered. And so, objective would be to keep all of them. Because, you know, we look at these struggles that we have as like minor and insignificant. You know, it's like, oh, I have trouble communicating, I need to work on that. And it feels like a private thing, but like, I know I'm not the only person in the world that deals with it. And like, even, you know, future descendants or even people that are in my family that are alive now might struggle with it in one way or another. And so why not talk about the issues that we're dealing with? There's this, this thing that Gretchen Rubin, she's a writer who lives here in New York, she was talking about this thing that she does with her family called Update that I really like the sound of, where like we don't really pay attention to announcements. Like, you know if somebody in your family has like some really big event, like, oh, I'm getting married or I'm having a kid or something like that. But like hearing those things, let's say not from your family, let's say from just like a friend, you know, like on Facebook, and you're just like, oh yeah, that's great, you know, and you know, old Taylor and Allison had a baby, you know, I know that about them. But that doesn't make you feel connected. You know, you don't feel like you know them better. You just happen to know an event that happened in their life. But the thing that really fosters connection is knowing the minutia. And so knowing like the little day-to-day happenings and getting those frequently makes you feel more connected to a person. And part of this effort for communication, it should be being more connected, right? So the idea with Update is to send updates of just kind of like whatever happened recently. And the way that they do it is in an email, and it's just kind of like a list of like, I took Grace to the vet, I bought a new thingy for the house, you know, my kid is in the play at school, and I don't have a kid, but yeah, and I didn't do any of those other things. But that's the idea. And I think that's something that I could enjoy doing, and I think that it works well as a vlog format, where like, you know, it could be this list that you're sending to somebody in email, or it could be, you know, a phone call that you're having. But it could also be this, whereas this is like kind of like a video call. It's just that you can watch it whenever you want, you know, and it maybe isn't necessarily directed at a single person, but it could be. And that's another piece of advice that I've gotten about communicating with writing newsletters and making vlogs, is to not just be like, hey everybody in the world, what's going on? But to be like, I'm envisioning a certain person sitting over there and I'm gonna have this conversation like that's the person that I'm talking to. And it makes you communicate in a certain way where you're like, this is how I communicate with this person, and it's very authentic to how I communicate. And I honestly haven't been doing that so far in this video. I've just kind of been like, I'm just gonna talk and it's gonna end up where it's gonna end up. But sometimes when I write my newsletters or emails, I try to frame them like I'm writing them to my brother, because I will be the most like relaxed and natural in that way. And it's when you're relaxed and natural that you come across as who you like actually are. And so that's another technique that I've been trying to use to foster more communication. But it's not like that's something I have to struggle with when I am talking to one of them. In that case, it's the actually say something issue, you know? And, you know, do I consider myself introverted? You know, to some extent. I think I'm less introverted than Regina is, but Regina is a communicator, and I am not. So there's a difference there, you know? So like, being communicative and being introverted aren't necessarily, what's the word? Positively correlated. You can be both, or you can be neither, or you can be one or the other, you know? But anyway, I don't know where I'm going with that. So that's where I'm getting off track here. But my objective with this, when I shoot videos like this, I try to not stop talking. That way I don't have to do a lot of editing in post, you know, because I don't want to have like these dead periods of silence where I'm just like, oh, and then I gotta edit this out. And then I'm gonna stare over here for 3 minutes. And then when I go in Adobe Premiere, I gotta edit all that out. No, that sucks. You know, obviously I'm not making this video super concise. And, you know, who knows who's actually going to watch like a video that's like 10 or 20 minutes long. But my understanding is with experience that will come down, chop down to smaller pieces eventually. Or, you know, I'll find some little snippets in there that I'll take out and I'll be like, that'll be a nice little tidbit of gold to drop for people, but I don't care. You know, it's, you watch the whole thing or you don't. Obviously the objective is for me to make them and to not get so obsessed with who's watching it and what they're getting out of it and all that, because, you know, like I said, my objective is to communicate more, and, you know, all that I need to do that is start talking. But, you know, there's also the idea that communication, so effective communication is when somebody else hears you and understands you and internalizes what you said. I'll let that be the next step. The first step to be to actually start communicating, you know? Because that's the part where I struggle. Because people can't internalize what you've said if you've said nothing, right? And so I like that. That's my plan for things to work on in the morning. I hope I like how this video looks, and because I often am pretty obsessed with getting the best quality out of what I have here. It's nice to shoot with my iPhone because it's very easy and I can see it like without any extra tools. You know, I can just have the little camera facing me, but that's kind of low quality. I can flip the camera around and have it facing me this way. Can't see it, better quality. But the best quality that I can get is from my DSLR, and I've got that set up right here in front of me, but I can't see the screen because I don't have a little monitor or anything like that. And so what I've been doing is just putting my phone on, you know, selfie mode like this, and holding it behind the camera so that I can see that it's actually recording, because that's a good thing to know. And it is still, so how about that? I'm not very experienced with shooting these vlog videos. I've done it a little bit, and I've wanted to do it a lot more. Like watching Peter McKinnon and Casey Neistat, who are like very popular vloggers among people that like vlogs and photography, and tried to model their success a little bit. If you watched my unpacking video, which I haven't uploaded yet or even edited together, but I intend to soon, probably before this one. I'm using my little monopod feet to record this. And so this monopod thing is really heavy, and I decided I'm not going to carry it when I'm traveling anymore. But it comes apart, and you can put the head of it onto the feet and then put a tripod head on it, and then put the camera right there. And my idea here is that I'm gonna show this footage from the phone on this video so you can see what I'm talking about, and you can see my mess on the table. That, you know, I didn't have to clean up because that camera's facing this way, but lo and behold, I took some video the other way. I try to remember to take my vitamins in the morning. I often forget. I've been meaning to set some reminders or get an app that reminds me. That one was vitamin D, and then these are a little multivitamin that are all made out of like plant food. Whoops, not plant food, but plant-based. So it's highly bioavailable. I really like them. I like the pretty little green bottle that they come in. I'll show you. Boop. Get your leg. Quit showing your butt, Grace. I'm not running that kind of video here. Anyway, doesn't this look nice? Doesn't it look healthy and green? And it's got these little veggies on it. And yeah, I did a lot of research on multivitamins and which ones are the best. And turns out this one is the best. Reason being that, oh, this is the new box. A lot of tablet vitamins use binders and fillers to make them into tablets, and so you really want vitamins that come in capsule form, and they're just like a little powder inside a capsule. And that's the first important thing. And the second is that you want the nutrients to come from plant-based or highly bioavailable sources. Bioavailable means that your body can extract the nutrients from it with ease. And so this one in particular everything comes from plants, whereas like in a lot of other multivitamins, stuff will come from like limestone and like, I don't know, other like factory made stuff, like synthetic chemical vitamins. Whereas all of this is like, comes from like cherries and algae and kelp. Let's see what else we got here. That's good. And then over here it's just like whole like beets and carrots and blackcurrant. And then we got, let's see, we got some stuff for the prostate, some stuff for the brain. We got the ginkgo biloba. We all know we need that. And boron. Anyway, that's the idea. That's enough of that. So if you're looking for multivitamins, this one's great. I like it a lot. When I take it consistently, I feel powerful. But I have been forgetting to take it consistently, and I'm going to do something about that right now. Hey Siri, remind me at 8 a.m. every day to take vitamins.
Okay, I've created a recurring reminder.
How about that? Remind me at 7 p.m. every day to take vitamins.
Okay.
There we go. Why did I set 2? Because these you take 2 in the morning and 2 in the evening. And that's something I keep pushing my parents to do, is to use Siri to make reminders. I obviously grew up with technology and all these tools, and anybody who's my age did, but we still don't even use them half as much as we should. It's like the amount of power and capability that we have here thanks to this is unparalleled throughout human history, and we just squander it. Just like, yeah, whatever, forget about it. Grace, come on. Grace needs to be in the lap to be happy. If there's a lap and Grace isn't in it, things aren't right. Now I've got a little cat hair on my lens. I bought a new lens the other day, and that is really exciting for me. My ultra wide broke a little while back. The aperture on it jammed up, and so it would be dark all the time no matter what. It was really stupid. I had insurance on it, fortunately, and I sent it back, or like a warranty thing, Square Trade, the name of the company. And they were just like, here's some money. And I was like, that works, I'll buy a new one. And so after testing out some different ones and renting a couple of different lenses, I decided to go with Canon 16 to 35 millimeter, but the f4 version. So if you know cameras, then you know that f4 is not a super fast, super wide aperture. It's, doesn't let in a whole lot of light, but the benefit is that this one has an image stabilizer, and that means that my shaky ass hands aren't gonna blur up my images if I want to drop the shutter speed really low. And lower shutter speeds are actually really nice for low light, better than a higher aperture is. Reason being that for depth of field. So like right now I have it set to its lowest depth of field, but it's at its widest focal length. So, I'm not looking at the image right now. I'm not sure what's in focus and what isn't, but higher apertures means more is in focus front to back, and smaller apertures mean less is in focus front to back. And when you're shooting architecture, you want everything in focus. You don't want this huge picture of a room and then only this like doorknob is in focus. You want as much in focus as possible. And so an image stabilized lens allows, well, this is for shooting like apartments and like something very quick where the camera isn't on a tripod, which is, what I do a lot for the real estate company. Yeah. And anyway, so it allows me to shoot really slow shutter speeds without camera shake, which would totally ruin the image, while keeping the aperture high. And so it's an exciting lens for that. And going to be using it a whole lot this summer, because the summer is prime time for rental season. And so in between my other projects, I've got some editing projects to do right now, and I shot a lot last week at Splinter Creek was that last week? 2 weeks ago? At Splinter Creek in Mississippi, and so I've got a whole lot of images to edit for that. But I can't sit in the house every day. Like I'll lose my damn mind if I sit in here all day, every day. I have to get out and do something. But I don't like to just go outside just to go outside. It would be different if I lived, if I had like a backyard, you know, or if there was like a trail or something to walk nearby. But like the nearest park is just like a playground, and there's like a couple of trees. It's not bad, you know, it's nice that it's there. But that's the only one that I can like walk to in a few minutes. And it's okay, but it's not like being in the woods, which is what I really want. And the park that is like that, I have to drive to, or I'd have to bike to, through some streets that aren't so pleasant to ride or bike through. And so my point is that I need a reason to go outside. And it's good when that reason to go outside is something that is work that makes me a little money. And so it's really nice to have like, oh, I need to go shoot an apartment today, and, you know, go spend a couple of minutes working on that. And that gets me out of the house. And then once I'm out, I'll be like, well, maybe I'll stop at this park, or maybe I'll, you know, go to a coffee shop or something like that. And then I can continue working on whatever I was working on before. So I like to kind of divide my days like that. So the ideal day, if I were really doing it right, would be to get up and go for a walk. So I would get some exercise in the morning, and I really need to do that more frequently. And by more frequently, I need to do that every single day. But I don't right now, but I should try to, right? And then after the walk, come home and write, or, you know, do this vlog, drink a glass of water, take my vitamins, have breakfast, ideally not have coffee. I'm having coffee, I drink coffee on days that I'm planning to do a lot of editing, so that like as soon as I get done with this, I'm gonna sit down at the computer and edit for like 5 or 6 hours, and coffee helps for that, to like really like slam that out in the morning. But I don't drink coffee if I'm not going to work immediately afterwards, because I'll just be going like crazy, whatever, you know, doing whatever it is that I'm doing. Because coffee like really makes me nuts. I like it, it's tasty, but it makes me crazy. So try not to drink it so much. Like, I'm speaking much faster now, having had coffee, than I would if I were making this video and I hadn't had any this morning. And people that know me will know that that's the case. So, yeah, so have breakfast, and then either go out and start taking photos or start working on whatever editing project that I have to work on. You know, ideally I would go out and take photos in the morning and then edit in the like afternoon and evening, because the light is really good in the morning for photos. And so what I'm really trying to do is get up earlier every day. But in order to do that, I need to be getting to bed earlier. And so that's kind of like the next thing to conquer. I've got a lot of things that a lot of changes that I want to make with my life, obviously. You know, the objective is to just keep working at those. And doing this helps, because writing or talking about the things that you want to do will always keep it present and top of mind. You know, because if I just had the little thought like, oh, I should learn to communicate more, or I should write more, or I should go to bed earlier, and then I just go on with my day, then it's just gonna disappear, you know, and I'll end up just you flow back into your habits. There's this quote that I really like, that I don't even remember exactly, that's like, we don't rise to our aspirations, we fall to our level of training. It's something like that. And so like, the habits that you actually have are what you're going to be, you know? And so like, rather than like, I'm gonna go to the gym every day and I'm gonna, you know, like go to sleep at 7 p.m. and all this stuff. But it's not gonna happen if your habit is never go to the gym, go to bed at midnight. I don't answer my phone if I don't know the person that's calling. You know, I really enjoyed, like one of the best things about having a cell phone was never getting telemarketers calling you. And I was like, this is amazing, you know, because I remember having a hard line at the house and just telemarketers all the time. And now that's been ruined. Now I get telemarketer calls all the time. Almost every call that I get is a telemarketer. And I'm really sad about it, because, you know, I really liked being able to, like, ooh, somebody is calling, I am gonna have a conversation with somebody I care about, you know? And it's just not the case anymore. And it's, you know, it's because my phone number is up on my website and Instagram and whatever, because, you know, work stuff. But maybe I should take it down everywhere, but I'm sure the damage is done. I'm sure it's too late, you know? I could remove my phone number from every place where it exists on the internet, I'd probably still be getting these telemarketer calls for years. If you know anything about how to put a stop to telemarketers calling my cell phone, I'd appreciate that. Because, you know, if I could never deal with this again, that'd be great. I'd be real happy. And I forgot to set a timer, so I don't know how long I have been rambling over here. Let's see if I can see it on the back of the camera using my handy dandy look at the back of the camera trick. I can't see anything on this. It's all like blown out, and the timer is in the top corner here, and it's completely invisible to this phone. You know, so if I do continue to do 25 minutes, I think I've been going long enough. The objective is to write or produce some sort of content for like 20 to 30 minutes every day, and I've done it. So how about that? And if you, on the subject of update, about providing the little tidbits of what's new in your life, if you want to send me back a video or an email or a voicemail or something, audio email, however you want to do it, that would be cool. Tell me what's up with you, and I will check it out as thanks for you checking this out. Because if you watched me talk nonsense for half an hour, you know, I can spend a little time catching up with you. So thanks for watching, and I'll talk to you later. Bye. Where's the